After Nagi almost scores the second goal for Manshine City with his juggling shot, if it wasn't for Yukimiya making a fully committed face block, the second ball goes over the net, giving Manshine a corner kick. As we see everyone getting into their positions, we see Corona tell Isagi that their positioning is crucial. As we see that Chigiri is actually going to be the kicker for this corner, Isagi predicts that it'll be a highly precise curve kick. Corner kicks all come down to the kicker's ball handling and positioning. It is impossible to read completely, but if he can get into a probable spot, he could get some foresight in. But more than Nagi and Reo, the most dangerous player with the height and the long limbs is none other than Agi. From his shooting to his post plays to even his trapping, he is quite literally unstoppable in the air. Isagi definitely can't beat him in a height contest, but if Mensai and him are marking Agi, they might have a shot at beating him. As Chigiri is about to make the kick with everyone preparing to mark their mans, we see that Chigiri actually sends a low trajectory ball. Seeing that Agi knew that Isagi and Mensai were anticipating a jump from him and reacted first to the ball, as he's dashing towards the near side of the goal, seeing that he's going to make it to the ball first, Isagi tries to at least block his shot course, but right there we see Agi make an overhead flick pass instead. Isagi realizes that not only his mid-air skills, but his football IQ and technique are both world class as well. As Agi passes the ball to feed Nagi's imagination once more, and as it looks like he's about to hit a crazy bicycle kick to the other side of the goal, we see Kaiser quick to intercept the ball and clear it, calling Nagi premature. As Kaiser lands on his toes while Nagi lands on his back, we see Agi say to Kaiser that it's been a while, and that this time he'll give him a proper analysis, to where Kaiser just tells him to focus on babysitting Nagi. Isagi sees that Kaiser's specs between his offense and defense are next level, and that he's way beyond his expectations, stating that he's so far, but he's sure that the piece that he needs to become the best in the world will be found in this high level match, as he claims to also be in mid development. As we cut to everybody charging towards the second ball, we see Kaiser tell Ness to get the ball for them to make a counterattack. As Ness dribbles past one of Manshine's players effortlessly, we see both Kaiser and Ness heading into Manshine's half. Isagi, trailing behind them, tells himself to think and to keep up with Kaiser. Even if he tried to intercept Ness's pass to Kaiser, he'll just be outside of his shooting range and end up misfiring his shot again. If he can't visualize his goal right now, then he'll just have to change his thought process even more, and if he stays on Kaiser, then he'll be able to study his thought process and visual field. Isagi assesses that Kaiser is always within Ness's passing zone, running a route that causes trouble for the defenders, and his steps let him get behind their center of gravity. Once Ness makes a pass, Kaiser gives it back to him in the same instant with no movement wasted in between. Isagi can understand it, but he's unsure if he can replicate it himself, so he moves on to his next thought. Kaiser's almost at the goal, so the defenders will group up, and it'll be thicker, so Isagi thinks that Kaiser will try to find a place to where there'll be fewer players, but we then see the contrary of Kaiser actually speeding up towards the two defenders instead of slowing down. As Isagi as well as the two defenders in front of Kaiser are confused on why he's just charging straight ahead, wondering what he's visualizing, Isagi sees that Kaiser is looking at his surroundings instead of the ball, or to be more precise, he's turning his head to take in the full picture rather than focusing on just the ball, expanding his entire field of view. As it seems like Isagi has figured out what Kaiser is planning, we see Ness make the final pass to Kaiser, as we see Chigiri, Reo, and Agi make it to the goal zone trying to stop Kaiser. As Chigiri even tells Kaiser that his shot course is dead, that's when Kaiser tells them that they're all just blind, as he still goes through with his shot, with the shot passing through not one, not two, but 5 active players, as well as the goalie, as they all fail to stop the Kaiser impact as it hits the top bins of the net. As everyone on the field is in complete awe, we see Isagi say that it's not the Kaiser impact that he should devour from Kaiser, but it is his eyes, as he claims it to be the big bang piece to become the best in the world. As the world is amazed at Kaiser's goal, we see Kaiser say that all the hope they needed was the fact that he was there and nothing else. Isagi says that he already knows how incredible the Kaiser impact is, but it isn't an ability he should try and take from him. That genius weapon is something that is unique to him and something that he can't learn even if he spent a lifetime trying. Isagi says that what he needed to pay attention to in that play was the process of how Kaiser found that shot course before anyone else and how he arrived there faster than anyone else on the field, with the reason undoubtedly being the way that he uses his eyes. Humans have two types of visions, being peripheral vision and central vision. When it comes to football, in order to perceive the entire field, including every player and the ball while in motion, it is important to absorb as much info as possible through one's peripheral vision. If one's too focused on the ball with just your central vision, you'll lose sight of your surroundings. So when it comes to your surroundings, your decision making speed is delayed. Even knowing that, when one has to dribble and pass while running down the field at full speed, they'll focus too much and narrow their field of vision. So it's likely that Kaiser is constantly inputting new info that he gains from his peripherals. By doing this, he'll know who is doing what and where they are on the field at all times, friend or foe alike. By having that overwhelming amount of info at his disposal, he'll be able to arrive at the best point that no one else could understand. Isagi then compares this to the world he can see and says that it's like Kaiser's watching from a higher dimension, coming to the conclusion that Kaiser's eyes and brain are fourth dimensional, that stands above that of everyone else, as he calls it metavision. By taking in info from a lower dimension like Isagi's already been doing, he couldn't wish to beat Kaiser. And adding on to that, saying that it's not something anyone can just do. By overlapping things like spatial awareness, perception, and football IQ, Kaiser is able to attain and discern info from his 4D vision, and by connecting that to the Kaiser impact at the end, he becomes an exceptional striker that can create goals for himself, fully deducting the mechanism of this genius, Michael Kaiser's golden rule. Now all that's left for Isagi is to figure out how to use it to fight. Since he doesn't have the Kaiser impact, the weapon he can use is his direct shot, but with metavision. Even though he wasn't aware of it then, he says that he thinks he can do it, quickly correcting himself, saying that he's probably done it before when he managed to score goals in the earlier stages of Blue Lock, where he could smell the scent of a goal. All of those plays were possible because his brain and eyes transcended everyone else on the field. Isagi is then shocked, being that while he was only capable of using metavision in those small moments, Kaiser is able to keep that up for the entire duration of matches, questioning if that's even possible, but also stating that it could be like becoming a god on the field. If this is the case, then Isagi's golden rule should be metavision and his direct shot, but he says that it has to be something more than that. It's just a theory as of right now, but if Isagi can actually implement this in his plays, then he can realistically beat not just Kaiser, but every strong opponent that he's come across, including the World 5. Kaiser asked Isagi if it was fun stalking him, or perhaps if he understands his plays now and has become so filled with despair that it's left him speechless, but Isagi says no, but actually thanks Kaiser, saying that he now sees hope in crushing him. As we see Isagi saying that he wants to test his theory out with a grin on his face. As we move on to the next chapter, restarting the match with Isagi excited to try out this new piece to his evolution. Instead of focusing on one player, he needs to use his peripheral vision to see the entire field and latch onto even more info in his field of view. Not only does he need to understand the entire flow of the game, but he also needs to know who is going where to do what and what's going to happen next, and try to process all of that in his head. As he also moves his neck to add more info to his view, he can quickly see that Bastard is more wary of Nagi's movements, and Shigiri is rushing to the side, waiting for a pass in his zone. Ryo seems to be having more trouble slipping through alone and has chosen to coordinate with Agi this time. Isagi still doesn't see a breach in their play, but the sensation is a rush. being that he's gathering much more info he couldn't have before, as if there's a new brain circuit upon him granting him super senses. As Isagi tells himself not to lose track of how this sensation feels, telling himself to keep going, he then reads out the movements of every player on the field in his head on these two beautiful double page panels. Now, I'm not gonna attempt to narrate all of this, but just know this man Isagi is cooking. As Ryo makes a pass to Nagi, Isagi is able to distort Nagi's image and intercept the pass Nagi, as he says to Nagi that his creativity is no more than play pretend to him. As both Ryo and Chigiri are shocked, Agi says that Isagi is different from before. Isagi states that Metavision is much more amazing than he expected, as he can now see and understand everything, as he never knew this scenery that he's able to use existed beforehand, as he says that football has become way too much fun. As Bastard's bench is also shocked at Isagi and how he stopped Nagi like that, we see Hiyori also in awe at that play, questioning if it was by reflex, but quickly corrects himself, saying it's something even more than that. Or rather, it looks like Isagi's having more fun. As we see Isagi with the ball dashing down the field with a grin on his face, we see him say that it's time for him to utilize Metavision on the offense. As he calls out to Corona, Corona asks if they're going to destroy Manshine from the right side, saying that he's ready whenever he is, but that's when Isagi cuts him off, saying that there's no need for all that, because as of right now he can see much more than that, telling Corona to follow him as they are about to break through the middle of the field, as he tells himself to catch any distortions that emerge from the field. We then see Isagi and Corona make a quick 1-2 to get past Ryo with ease. As Isagi looks around, he sees that Kaiser is still behind him, as well as two other Manshine C players starting to move towards them. As they both break past the first player, Isagi says that the offense version of Metavision is working, telling himself to keep thinking as they quickly pass through the second player as well now. With a total of 3 bodies to his name in a matter of seconds, Isagi tells himself to minimize the time it takes for him to look down to trap the ball as much as possible, and to keep looking at his surroundings and sense more of what's happening on the field. And above all else, process more information than anyone else on the field, as he even includes himself as mere data on the field from that of a higher 4D dimension. He must see himself merely as a pawn. As he's now 43 meters till the goal with Kunigami as well as 3 Manshine C players ahead between him and the goal, Isagi then asks what would he be able to do with his current abilities? What are his opponents looking at and thinking of in this moment? If he was a god, how would he utilize himself best to score, plan and execute, input and output, do these things simultaneously? As Isagi's brain is overflowing with thoughts, he calls himself amazing. As they are approaching the goal, we see Isagi pass the ball to Corona, as he then sends it right back to Isagi over the first defender. As they proceed to break past another defender, we see Isagi now with the ball running towards Kunigami and the defender on him. We see that he even uses Kunigami as bait to break past into the penalty area to make the last defender hesitate. As Isagi is about to kick the ball, he then baits the defender for a second time and passes the ball to Corona. As Isagi sees his shooting point, we see him charge towards it as he looks back at Corona, telling him to give him the ball, with Corona understanding the plan, calling Isagi an egoist. As Isagi is making a break towards his shooting range, leaving both Hiyori and Yoichi shocked on the bench as they say that he's on another level, we see Corona say that even with his speed, he can barely keep up with Isagi's passes, but is committed to letting Isagi finish this play with a goal. As Corona then makes the final pass to Isagi, Isagi predicts that it's going to bounce once, and just a cluster of thoughts on the shot in general. As we see Isagi about to connect both Metavision to his direct shot, as he claims this to be the reborn Isagi Yoichi. In that moment, we see Kaiser come in between Isagi and the goal as he welcomes him to his dimension. As Isagi freaks out for a second, that Kaiser just cut off his shot course, asking himself he should just restart from zero. He just tells himself to shoot anyways and to use the space in between as Isagi shoots through Kaiser's legs, telling him to get out of the way. As the ball flies off course towards the goal, we then see Kunigami lurking from the shadows as he emerges to steal the scraps from Isagi's play as he steals the goal for himself as he kicks the ball right into top bins, putting Bastard up 1 in this match. As Isagi is furious at the fact that Kunigami stole the ball and that he didn't need an assist, Kaiser says to Isagi that he shouldn't have shot and that all he needed to do was let him have the ball. He then adds on saying that he definitely wasn't in a good position to shoot the ball in between his legs, and as they both saw, he missed the shot in the end, telling Isagi that he must really love dishing out assists. In that moment, Isagi says to Kaiser that he'll crush him and that he'll kill him even if it's the last thing he does. As Kaiser continues to taunt Isagi, asking if that's his new way of saying I love you to him, Noah calls Isagi's last play fantastic, and for him not to let it break him, as he may not notice it right now, but this ticket that he found to becoming the best in the world can even lead Isagi right to him, as the chapter ends. Hey guys, DarkheroJosh here, and that was the moment where Isagi destroyed Manshine City. I kinda wanna make this into a little 2-parter or even 3-parter series because this man Isagi destroyed this team multiple times in this match, so definitely expect a part 2 and possibly a part 3 to this moment video as well. If you guys enjoyed this video, then please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and comment down below what other things Blue Lock you guys want to see me talk about next on the channel. And without further ado, I hope you guys do have a great day, and see ya.